Thank you, Alain. And wonderful morning this morning. Indeed, it's one of the questions I already had this morning by some of my, ex-students, people that I know privately that came up to me. But what are you doing here? You're a health specialist, and you're on a marketing congress. What is that all about? And so, really, what I will be talking about today is how health is the most meaningful value for your customers. That's what I try to explain to you. So to briefly introduce myself, I often call myself a health marketeer. Most of the times I try to call myself a health business expert. And why do I do so? It's because I believe that every business is actually a health business. I wrote a book about it that came out in 2019 that explains how everybody really wants to be healthy and happy today. I often ask that question to the audience, and let's just try. Who does not want to be healthy and happy? So, see, this is the one thing that we all have in common. That is, we all want to be healthy and happy. And due to that fact, it means that every company becomes a health company. Enough introduction. What I'll do is I'll talk about selling a gray fleece. I'll talk about how I believe that Mercedes-Benz is the most promising healthcare company in the world. And I'll also talk about this company, which is shifting to become a health company as well. But in essence, I will talk about two things. One is I'll talk about a human truth, and I'll talk about a business truth. Now I'll start with the human truth. I already asked the question to most of you. Everybody of us, every single one of us wants to become healthy and happy. And we've seen that really grow in the past year. Actually, health has always been very important to all of us. Think about it, 2,000-3,000 years ago, what we did is we brought offers to the God to become healthy. Happy may not have been a word yet, but we were really focused on praying to stay or to become healthy again. What we've seen recently is that health has become way more important, and it has to do with a lot of things, technology being one of it, but it allows us to be really empowered and to really have that, influence on our own health. And this is the graph that I shown when I launched the book in London in 2019. I said by 2020, most of the people will be occupied on health. Obviously, I didn't know that was my Nostradamus moment, because 2020, everybody was indeed occupied with health. But that wasn't even calculated in that graph, because if you add the COVID situation, even more people were occupied with health. And this is really what it was all about. If you look at how Ipsen looked at these data and how people are becoming more conscious about their health or actively involved in their health, they said that 65% are actually doing this today, more than ever. So what does this mean for your company? And how does it come that we are so occupied with our health, maybe even more than 2,000-3,000 years ago? I'll try to explain that by moving to the Maslov Pyramid. We've all heard about the Maslov Pyramid. I simplified it in 3 steps here. And so we have the basic needs, which are the functional needs. We have the emotional needs as well. And what we see in society today is that our basic needs and our emotional needs are extremely fulfilled. Most of the time, this is what we have already. And people are increasingly looking at the top of that pyramid. We are really wanting to become the best version of ourselves. We call that the self-actualization needs or the aspirational needs. And this is the way that the society has changed dramatically. And there's a ton of examples that I can use to explain that to you, how this is actually happening. But my favorite example is probably to look at how people look at retirement. Like 20, 30 years ago, and I see some gray hairs, maybe you might have thought the same way. 20, 30 years ago, what people said when they retired, they said, oh, I've done my part now. Now I'll do what I really love to do. I will be focusing on myself. I'll do that hobby that I always wanted to do. I make that trip that I've been dreaming of for 20, 30 years. This is how we treated retirement. Today, probably most of you won't wait to do that ideal trip to go to that country you've always wanted to go, to make that 3-month sabbatical and travel around the world. We will do it immediately. Why? Because we want to become the best versions of ourselves way earlier in our life. We are already having those basic needs and emotional needs fulfilled. And it was trend watching already in 2015 that said, this self-actualization need, this drive to become the best version of ourselves, this will be the basic of consumerism in the future. Also, Seth Godin said that actually marketeers, what they should be doing is trying to help people become the persons they aspire to be, right? And this is what we all as marketeers should be focusing on. Now let me explain to you how we could do that and how marketing has evolved over time. I'll go back to the Maslov Pyramid and I'll help you sell this gray fleece. The way that we used to do it was focusing on product features, which in this case would then be, well, it has long sleeves, it's warm, you can throw suggestions if you want to, it has pockets, a high call, and this is how we could sell this particular product, right? We focused on the product features. It evolved over time. We became aware that the emotions of people are very important, and we started to focus on market research. And so what we did is that we changed the product, because based on market research, we heard that, well, you know, maybe we need a zipper here to put the passport in it, or maybe even our smartphone. We added logos so that people can recognize themselves. We added recognizable faces on advertisements so that people can, you know, have some resemblance with, or maybe some dreaming about who they would want to become. This is how we sold later on a gray fleece. Now, if you would look at today, and if taken into account the self-actualization needs and the aspirational needs of people, how would we sell a gray fleece today? This is the big question, and this is the one thing that I'd love you to remember if you leave this session. If we would want to sell a gray fleece today, we'll do it like this. This is Patagonia in 2011 saying that you don't need to buy this if you don't really need it. Right? It sounds a bit cheesy, but if you know Patagonia, and I suppose as most of you marketeers are following the market, they are very sincere about this. They would rather want you to repair the old one than to buy a new one, because they don't believe in the pure consumerism behavior that you always need new stuff and more stuff. So they are convincing people not to buy it, and they kind of create some sort of, you know, brand loyalty, brand fans because of that. This is how you sell a gray fleece today. And the reason why it works well is because people are more than ever aspirational. They want to become the best version of themselves, and they are looking at brands particularly to help them, because the entire world is becoming more aspirational. And you can see that in 3 different areas. And I only focus on one, but you have, of course, sustainability. On the other side, there's sustainability going on. You also have the diversity and inclusivity story, where everybody wants to make sure that we include a large, diverse audience. And in the middle of it, overlapping with the 2 others, is indeed health and well-being. Because the reasons why people go for sustainable products is also for their own health. The reason why they go for products that are focused on inclusivity and diversity is also because of their health, partially. And so this is what companies more and more try to do. They try to feed into those aspirational needs of people. And it's a very basic example from in Belgium here, but what Frosch did is that they said that your indoor quality in your home, the air in your home, is not enough. It's not nice, it's not good. You need to be careful, definitely with the whole COVID situation, and we were all focused on the quality of our air and what we breathe in, right? And so what they did is that we will come to your house, we will measure the air quality, we will probably see that there's too much chemical substances in the air, and what we will then recommend is better products that don't have those chemical substances, which are inherently better for your home, better for the air quality in your home. And this is what they did. They then suggested, of course, their own products. So marketing, to me, has stepped away largely from just focusing on product features. It's not enough. You won't convince people anymore with that. It also stepped away from purely what we call then the customer-centricity focus, or the emotional needs of people. We are more and more focused on those aspirational needs. And one of them is health. And the thing is that you as a company should be thinking about, how can you make your customers healthy and happy? This is what you could try to do. And it was already mentioned by Diane Young, which is the CEO of The Drum, which is the most famous marketing website in Europe. She said, like, marketing is all about aspirations. Remember those aspirational needs? She says it's all about aspirations. We need to find ways to make people healthier. And so, aspiration is kind of a little bit fluffy, of course. I have a whole keynote on that particularly. I even work with clients. There's 24 aspirations that you can use in your business today, tomorrow, whatever, that actually helps you make your products, your services, your experiences healthier for your clients. But to have a very simple example, using 4 women of different ages, they might have different aspirations in their life. And I love the example, of the woman between 30 and 40. She has a wonderful career, just had her second baby, is still together with her partner, still has contact with friends from university, wants to run twice a week, is growing in her career, wants to keep that, maintain that, because she just got promoted. She's got new friends. She wants to be a good mom, a good partner, a good daughter, a good friend, and all of that. And so what she really needs, what her aspiration is in becoming healthy and happy, is she really needs energy. And to get that energy, she will focus on, what can I do? What brands can help me have that energy? What can really make me healthy and happy? What can give me that necessary energy to thrive in my life? And to summarize, the first truth is that everybody wants to be healthy and happy. We all have different aspirations, universal aspirations, but we all might have different aspirations in our life. The thing is that these aspirations, to me, are the new needs. So if you want to impact, connect with your customers, think about aspirations beyond the needs. This is the first thing I wanted to share with you. And we see this in all data around us. This is data from Nielsen, who said that 48% of people are proactively involved in choosing things that make them healthier and happier. It all correlates as well with the book that I wrote. Every study that I did is 50% of people are occupied with their health, right? And that's also why they say that health and wellness was the single most powerful consumer force of 2021. This is what we really need to talk about. And if you look at any other company, there's not even a debate. We have Accenture that says that every business is a health business. We have Fast Company that says every brand needs to behave like a health and wellness brand. We have the Future Laboratory that says now every business could be a health and wellness business. And IDEO that says every business has to play a role in building better health. Health is everywhere and is really important for every type of company. I've worked with construction firms, I've worked with food companies, I've worked with retailers, telecom operators, to find ways to make them customers healthy and happy. And that is the second truth. Every business is a health business. And this is something that we really need to understand. Ogilvy did a research back in 2020, and they've discovered that actually 73% of people said that we want health and wellness to be part of the core mission of any company. Well, if we look in reality, comparing different industries, what we see is that there's a large wellness gap in what they expect and what they get. And the result of that is things like this. This is the Standard & Poor's index, and what you see, the lines going down, these are the packaged food companies. Because packaged food is heavily perceived as being less healthy, as being almost toxic, and so they've been suffering on stock markets. And that is how important health and well-being is. So the question is, how can you create the right value as a company? What is the value that you need to create? And for years, we talked about customer experience. Many of you probably have been talking about customer experience largely every day in your professional lives. And for the right reason, because if you create experiences, you differentiate yourself, at least you could differentiate yourself from competitors, and you create more value, meaning your customer is ready to pay more, right? I'll give a brief example how that goes to really get your attention on this. In the fitness industry, this is a product. It costs about 12 euros. It's a halter, you can buy a bunch of them, and this is your investment. You can work out every day. This is your investment. That's the product. If you go to a gym, a fitness as we call them here in Belgium, well, it's actually a service because they already bought it for you, and you just have to go in and you can work out. And the thing is that it is more expensive than buying a halter. Well, actually, it used to be because, let's say 3, 4, 5 years ago, a subscription for a gym was about 100 euros a month. How much is it today? Anybody goes to the gym? 20 euros is it about today. So it went from 100 to 20 euros. And the reason is because there's no differentiation. The service that they provide is exactly the same. And so the only way you can compete with your competitors was actually just by lowering your price. Came along spinning classes, wonderful experiences. What happened is you just, and you're in a room with all these kind of lights, and you high-five with the people next to you. There's wonderful music. You can dance around your bike. So it's no longer just about a service, it's really about an experience. An experience where somebody yells at you, which is wonderful probably. But this is how it really goes. And the difference is that you almost pay 20 euros for one class. So the fact that it's just a mere experience allows you to ask more money because it's valued in a different way than previously. But what I say is that customer experience is by far no longer enough. It's hard to differentiate these days from a customer experience point of view. And so that's why I say that we are moving into what I call the transformational economy, where we try to focus on customer experiences that not only are nice, that not only are convenient, personalized, whatever, but that really makes you feel better, that makes you healthier or happier even. And in the fitness industry, again, I'll go back because I saw a lot of people wanting to take a picture. Here you go. What happens in the fitness industry is that you get this. In the past 2-3 years, what we've seen is an explosion of personal coaches. The price you pay is about 60 euros per hour, which is 3 times as much as a spinning class. And the advantage is that you don't feel just exhausted when you finish your class. You actually feel better. You feel transformed. And this is the focus that I always try to, achieve with companies, is that if you want to focus on health, if you want to differentiate from your competitors, just try to find those transformations. What is a transformation that your company, your business, your product can actually achieve? What is the difference that you can make? Because that is what people will pay for. And we're all marketeers. If we talk about transformations, the main thing that we often hear is, yeah, but transformation, isn't that when you go from living at home to living alone, or when you get married, because then you arrive in a different persona? Well, my point of view is that personas are out. I wouldn't use personas anymore in the sense that it's not based on your age or the way that you live. It's really about who you want to become. Because today, somebody from 16 or somebody from 80 could actually wear the same shoes, could have the same phone, could do the same travel, could have the same, watching Netflix, for example. So they all use the same products. The question is rather, how do you want to be transformed? And that is the way that you need to look at your customers. And Nike really understood this well. This is the Fuel Band, one of the best products I've ever had. And it's an activity tracker, basically. And so what they do is they track how much you move. But the genius part of it is that you can actually interchange the points that you have for products by Nike. So it becomes a loyalty program that is actually making people move more. It's no longer just a loyalty program where you say 10 plus 1. It's a loyalty program where you say, you move a lot, well, we help you move even more. And it became digital, of course, which is more scalable. And what they did is they helped people transforming. They helped people just doing it, right? This is what they try to achieve. And we see this all over the place. This is Nestle with a smart speaker in China helping you with the nutritional values of everything you eat. This is another example of such a smart speaker that also has a facial recognition, and it can recognize you or your partner or your kids. And what it will do is it will actually give you personal advice based on what you've eaten. You can even call with a physician. It dispenses medication. And this product is on the market in the US, in Germany, and is brought to the market by Black & Decker. This is how things evolve. Mercedes-Benz has a wonderful proposition. What they do is they actually want to make people healthier when they're in the car. So if you're driving 3 hours to get here, you might feel exhausted. What they want to do is if you spend 3 hours in your car, you actually feel better. They connect with all your wearables, they connect with your agenda, they connect with traffic, and depending on your mood, depending on your physical abilities, they will adapt the car. Temperature, lighting, scent even. They will play some other music. They will maybe adapt your chair. There's a massage in the car. And what it tries to do is it really wants you to get as fit and healthy as possible. They try to focus no longer just on car experience, but on health experience. That's how they are moving forward. Clear Channel, what they did is in Stockholm, when they see across social media platforms that actually there's a lot of stress going on, it's one of the most stressful cities in the world apparently, is they let go of all advertisement. And they put these kind of things on because these types of designs, apparently scientifically proven or science-based, like it says, they help people become more relaxed. So they want to transform people. Netflix, known for bench watching, well, what they've tried to do is they build this device that if you watch too long, 3-4 episodes, they will block the whole streaming thing. And you first need to go walking, or you first need to do some exercising before you can actually continue with watching Netflix. So this is really what it is all about. It's no longer just about products or services. It's also no longer, in fact, about customer experience. The question is, how can you make customer transformations? What are the experiences that you can create that makes people healthier and happier? And every business can do that because every business is actually a health business. So to wrap things up, there's two truths out there. Everybody wants to be healthy and happy, and every business is a health business. More concretely, what does that mean for you is that you can actually try to work on it by focusing on the aspirations, because the aspirations are the new needs, and instead of focusing on experiences, you need to focus on transformations. Now, I'll go down one more level as one of my last slides to really help you get this through. Because how do you go about this, right? Well, the one thing you need to realize is that you need to look beyond the touch points. Because otherwise you get things like this, right? What you try to do is you try to understand the aspirations of people in their life. You try to understand what is important in their life to become healthy and happy. And so no longer think about creating products based on the needs, no longer think about creating services based on the needs. You need to have the expectations in there as well. No longer just the needs. And with those expectations, you create wonderful experience. But finally, the one thing that you need to have to really create value and to differentiate from your competitor is adding what? I'll ask the audience. Aspirations. So if you have needs, expectations, and aspirations, this is where you can actually make the difference for your customers. And that is why I believe that health today, something which is important to all of us, our happiness, our health of the ones that we love, the ones that we live with, this is why I believe that for every business, every company in the world, health could be a valuable differentiator. Because your product is unique, what you bring to the market is unique. And that's why I should recommend all of you try to focus on how can you make your customers healthy and happy. I thank you for your attention.
Thank you. Thank you, Christophe. Great presentation, great topic, great theme. And I'm known by many people as being Mr. Happy, and I was happy, but not healthy. And I decided a few years ago to take a health coach, teaching you the healthy of nutrition, but also of sport. It's beautiful, and it helps you really to transform. So I can only say he's saying good stuff and right stuff. Any questions? Yes. Wait, I jumped to you.
Good morning. Hi. Fantastic story. I was just wondering, you talk about health, and you have physical health and you have mental health. And of course, happiness is about mental health. But which type of health is the most important for the customer today?
I think it depends on the customer. And what I try to do more and more, I think what I always see with clients, and when clients come to me, they say, you need to help us because we tried everything and it doesn't really work. But we believe what you say, but it doesn't work. And what I always see with those clients is that they focus on what I call the wellness bingo, which is sleep, mental health, physical health, and the fourth one, see, I don't even want to be associated with it. The thing is that it kind of works, but you create a very common story that everybody already does, and it's not differentiating. So it's not about what is most important, mental or physical health. The question is really what is the aspiration of people? Is it I want to look good? Is it I want to have plenty of energy? Is it I want to have an autonomy and a freedom in my life? Is it I want to avoid becoming sick? Whatever it may be, when you choose a couple of those universal aspirations, you can then work on those 4 elements, but then you will be more specific because you particularly focusing on aspirations. So the question is not what is most important in health. The question is what is the aspiration that makes them healthier that they want to achieve. It's a bit like a digital strategy. You can say we need a website, chatbots, an app, but it doesn't work like that. The question is what do you want to do with the app? What do you want to achieve? And so this is the same exercise if you want to have a health strategy. You need to think about what is the aspiration, what is the thing that we want to solve, and then you look at mental health or physical health, and you get there. That's how I would suggest.
Any other question? Yeah, one here.
Hello, thank you. Good presentation. I just have a question. The cases that you've shared are amazing and great, but us as marketeers are, of course, have a budget, have plannings, have agendas. So what would you recommend as like quick wins and quick steps in the implementation of health as a basis of what we do as brands?
The very lowest of the lowest, the quick win, would be to understand really the health impact of your product. Whether you're a shoemaker or a mattress seller or whether you are a supermarket, you need to understand what is really healthy or unhealthy about my product. And as a starter, you need to at least explain, when appropriate or in the right manner, of course, we need to look at that, but you need to explain what is the actual health impact. So that is the quick win, because what we see is that more and more people are deep diving into products to better understand, is this type of shoe good for me? Is this type of mattress actually healthy? And so I think that is the first thing you need to do, is try to understand your own product and communicate about it, because more and more people are looking for that. And if you can't answer that question, it's not really useful.
Everybody convinced? Carol, you're convinced? Yeah? You're advising big companies? You will all advise them health? Yeah? Okay. Thanks. Big applause to Christophe.